There's something strange, and maybe you didn't even notice this in Konoha's operation against the Shinju. Who would have thought that, in the middle of the most critical mission Konoha has faced in recent times, a name that isn't synonymous with the front lines of battle would suddenly appear on the list? Not a pure fighter, not a field ninja, but a figure who, from the very beginning, has always operated behind the scenes. And that's exactly where the problem starts. Because if we take a moment to look back and really examine the situation in detail, this decision feels off. This mission is clearly not just a routine patrol or anything like that. The threat they're facing isn't the kind of enemy that can be handled with standard strategies or solved through a brief exchange of dialogue. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? Because believe it or not, every single misstep could lead to massive destruction, or even trigger something far worse in the future. So it's only natural that the public immediately starts asking, why was this person brought along? What's the urgency? And most importantly, was their presence truly meant to help, or does it actually introduce a new and far more dangerous risk? And as we know, in the world of Boruto, major decisions almost never stand on their own. There's always another layer of meaning behind them, always a plan within a plan. And the more we look back, the clearer it becomes that a certain pattern keeps repeating itself. A pattern where specific characters always appear at critical moments, as if they already knew what was going to happen long before anyone else realized it. This is what makes the situation feel uncomfortable, or perhaps even suspicious, because looking at how the mission is going, it's not just about defeating the enemy, it's also about understanding who is really moving the chess pieces. Is this purely a strategic decision, or is it part of a scenario that has been prepared for a long time with a big plot twist ahead? Because once again, for fans themselves, observing and seeing the direction of Boruto's story development is something interesting, right? Even more interestingly, the figure brought into this team is no stranger to previous major conflicts. He is a figure whose contributions always change the direction of the story and even the plot twist itself. His every appearance is always followed by major consequences, both those that are immediately apparent and those that are only realized several chapters later. And history has proven one thing: when this person is involved, the end result is rarely as simple as we imagine. What makes it even more suspicious is that there is no reason that is truly transparent to the public. There is no clear explanation of the specific role he will play. Everything feels vague. It's as if important information is being deliberately hidden, both from other characters in the story and from us as readers. Then a much more disturbing question arises. What if this person's presence is not to solve the problem, but to ensure that something happens? What if failure, or even chaos, is part of a bigger goal? At this point, we begin to enter the realm of theories that divide the fandom. Some believe that he is just a pawn used by others. Others are convinced that he is the real player, the mastermind behind many tragedies, and the more clues we gather, the harder it is to see him as an ordinary ally. Especially when we remember one important fact. The world of Boruto, or even Naruto, has shown time and time again that the greatest threat doesn't always come from enemies attacking head-on. Rather, the most dangerous ones are those lurking in the shadows, speaking logically and appearing to be on the right side, or even completely unpredictable. Yeah, that's just how it is. So before we rush to conclude that this mission is a rescue operation or something similar, perhaps we need to ask deeper questions. Who actually benefits from all this? And who chose them for this operation? And if everything ends up spiraling out of control, is it truly a failure, or rather a result that was planned from the start? Because it's possible that this mission isn't about defeating a single threat. It's about opening a new chapter where we finally realize who the real mastermind is behind all the chaos that's been happening. Oh yeah, the person I'm referring to is Amado, and at least help me get this video to 100 likes. Thank you guys. So why was Amado suddenly included in this operation? Because after all, this is not a coincidence. Seeing how this operation began, there is a concept that I think was determined based on choice, not just coincidence. I mean, in this operation, Shikamaru's dialogue clearly states that whoever hears his voice will be seen in this operation. So that means that anyone who doesn't hear what Shikamaru says is not involved in this operation. And again, what exactly is Shikamaru's goal, or even Kashin Koji's reason for choosing Amado? Because like Delta, Damon, and the others, maybe we can justify it because they have the strength needed to defeat Mamushi. Moreover, they are fighter-type cyborgs, right? But disclaimer, guys, regardless of the outcome or even future plot twists, this is purely from Fam's perspective, meaning whether it's a coincidence or not, yeah, that's just how it is. And Yep, basically, so far, we still haven't gotten an official confirmation that Amado's participation was at Kashin Koji's request. But looking at what happened in previous missions, especially the mission in the Land of Wind, the team members assigned to the mission were chosen by Kashin Koji himself, right? And if we remember that Konohamaru and even Sarada were also targets of Shinju, we might have been suspicious of Kashin Koji's reasons for choosing them, considering that Konohamaru and Sarada had great potential to be targeted by Shinju, right? But it turns out that behind all that, there is something much more positive. A simple example is Sarada's new power. So, seeing how the previous mission members were chosen based on Kashin Koji's own selection, it means this operation is the same. Is that correct? Now the question is, what is Amado's purpose in this mission? Does this have anything to do with Kawaki, whose power has just been upgraded, or is he not done upgrading Kawaki yet? But if I may assume, one of the most plausible theories so far is that he is an observer. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? Because in the case against Ishiki, Amado also played a pretty important role in explaining in detail everything he knew about Ishiki, right? So it means Amado might suggest a way to eliminate Mamushi using something completely unexpected. Or maybe the answer is simpler and more dangerous. Amado is involved in this operation, of course, not to fight, but to ensure that the direction of this conflict does not deviate from a certain scenario. Because Shinju is not the type of threat that can simply be defeated. They are entities that can evolve, adapt, and even react to the pressures of battle, especially considering how Jura himself seems to observe every action or even physical change and strength of every enemy he faces. Is that correct? But of course, the one who understands how to read such changes best is Amado. At this point, his presence feels like a measuring tool, observing Mamushi, reading its evolutionary patterns or something similar, and noting the true limits of Shinju. Something that fighters, no matter how strong they are, cannot do. And if we look at Kawaki, his suspicions become clearer. Kawaki's power has just been enhanced, but it's not necessarily the final version. This mission could be a moment of proof, whether the enhancement is sufficient or if there are still adjustments that need to be made. And who else can judge that besides the person who created the system? So the most likely scenario isn't that Amado is assisting the mission, but rather that this mission is helping Amado, helping him understand Shinju, helping him read the new limits of power, and perhaps helping him prepare for the next step, which we've never even imagined before. But again, is this just a coincidence? And if it's not a coincidence, does choosing Amado for this operation actually hint at a major plot twist ahead? Or is this just my suspicion? But what do you think? So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, consider liking it up to 100. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. I'm Nim without the E. See you in the next video. Bye bye, Data Bio.